Welcome back. We're diving straight into the latest from Microsoft Intune today, specifically Service Release 2504. That's the week of April 21st, 2025.
Right. And there's quite a bit packed into this one. We know you listeners are seasoned admins, so we'll cut to the chase on what you need to know.
Exactly. Intune moves fast, doesn't it? So our goal is just to break down the key changes, the stuff that's really going to matter day-to-day or for your strategy.
Let's do it. This release feels particularly dense, so where should we start? Maybe security and control enhancements.
Good call. Okay, first up, Endpoint Privilege Management, EPM. Looks like a refinement there. Allowed command line arguments.
Yeah, this is actually quite significant. Previously, you could elevate a specific .exe file with EPM.
Right.
Now you can specify the exact command line parameters that are allowed when that file runs elevated.
Ah, okay. So much more granular.
Precisely. Think about it. You might have an app that needs admin rights, but only for one specific function triggered by a certain command switch. Now you can allow only that specific command. It blocks someone trying to use the same elevated executable for, well, something else potentially nasty.
Yeah, that really tightens the screws on potential misuse. Much lower risk profile for those elevated actions.
Definitely a good step for least privilege.
Okay, sticking with security, the Windows Security Baseline, version 24H2. What's new there? Sounds like quite a few additions.
It is. They've added 16 new settings, specifically for the landman server and workstation CSPs.
Okay, so network communication stuff.
Yep. Core networking. Plus, there's a new setting for Microsoft Defender, too.
And what do these add up to? Better auditing?
Better auditing, yes. Also helps strengthen SMB encryption, gives you tighter control over, how Windows devices talk on the network via SMB.
Important stuff. And how do we get these? Is it automatic if you're using the baseline?
Ah, good question. No, it's not automatic. You actually need to go into your existing Windows security baselines, edit them, and then save them again. Or, obviously, create a new baseline using the 24H2 version. Just opening an old one won't magically add the settings. You need that save action.
Right, got it. A manual step required there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pivot to Apple, managing their new AI features. Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, Intune is jumping on this quickly. Things like Genmojis, the writing tools, they've added new standalone settings for these within the app protection policy.
For specific controls within managed apps.
Exactly. You can decide, say, if those AI rating tools are okay inside your corporate email app, but maybe not somewhere else. Granular app-level control.
Makes sense. And catches.
Two main things. First, the apps themselves need to be updated to use a recent Intune app SDK version for these settings to actually, bite.
Okay, SDK dependency.
And second, the default behavior is that these Apple Intelligence features are blocked in managed apps.
Locked by default. Interesting.
Yes. Unless you explicitly set the org data sharing setting in the policy to all apps, they stay blocked. It's a safety-first approach, prioritizing data protection.
That seems prudent. While we're on app protection, looks like the list of supported apps grew a bit too.
It did. They've added FileOrbis for Intune, PagerDuty for Intune, and Outreach.io to the list of protected apps.
So, more options for securing corporate data in those specific third-party apps.
Correct. Just expanding that ecosystem, giving more flexibility depending on what tools your organization uses.
Good to see. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Management and visibility improvements. There's something called a relationship viewer for apps.
Yes, this looks quite useful. It's a new graphical viewer, initially for Win32 apps and enterprise app catalog apps.
And what does it visualize?
Dependencies and supersedence. So you can easily see like app A needs app B installed first, or app C is meant to replace app D.
Oh, that could be really helpful for troubleshooting deployment failures.
Absolutely. Or even just planning. If you're thinking of rolling out a new version or replacing an app, seeing those relationships visually simplifies understanding the potential impact. Cuts down on guesswork.
Yeah, I can see that being used a lot. What about Windows delivery optimization? Changes there too.
Right. The configuration for DO is moving to a settings catalog template.
Okay. What happens to existing DO profiles?
They'll keep working, which is good. No immediate panic. But for any new delivery optimization policies you create, you now must use this settings catalog template.
So a transition towards the settings catalog approach.
Exactly. It aligns DA configuration more closely with the standard Windows CSP model. more consistency, better alignment with how Windows itself manages policies.
Consistency seems to be a theme. I saw a note about the Android device config UI as well.
Yes, they're continuing that push for a unified admin experience. The UI for configuring Android devices is being updated to look and feel more like the experience for iOS, macOS, and Windows.
Like consolidating templates under profile type.
That's part of it, just making it more intuitive, reducing the kind of mental context switching when you move between managing different platforms. Should make things a bit smoother, maybe fewer mistakes.
Always welcomes. Now, enrollment is always a hot topic. Enhancements for Android Enterprise enrollment.
Two key things here, both pretty significant for efficiency. First, custom device naming for corporate-owned Android devices.
Finally. We can define a template.
Yes, you can create templates using variables like the device serial number or maybe the username so devices get named automatically and consistently during enrollment.
That is huge for inventory management and just identifying devices easily. Excellent. What's the second thing?
Enrollment time grouping. Meaning you can configure Intune to automatically add devices to specific static Microsoft entry groups right as they enroll.
Oh, wow. So policies, apps, settings, they get applied immediately.
Instantly. No more waiting for dynamic group memberships to update or manual assignments after enrollment. The device hits the right group from second one, gets its config much faster, really speeds up getting a device ready for use.
Those two together sound like they'll save a ton of admin time for Android rollouts.
I think so too. Big quality of life improvements there.
Staying with Apple briefly, an update on the Volume Purchase Program API, VPP.
Yeah, this is more of a back-end infrastructure update. Intune is moving to use Apple's VPP API version 2.0.
And the benefit is?
Apple says it's faster, more scalable. So for admins managing lots of VPP apps and books, deployment should feel more performant, more reliable. It's about improving that sync and deployment process behind the scenes.
Okay, good. Infrastructure improvements are always needed. Let's talk compliance and platform alignment.
Well, we sort of touched on this already, didn't we? Supporting Apple Intelligence features, adopting the new VPP API, it shows Intune is keeping pace with the platforms.
True. Anything else on the compliance front? Storage locations?
Yes, they've expanded the list of exempted storage services where users can save organizational data on Android and iOS. iManage and Ignite are now included.
So if your company uses iManage or Ignite for documents, you can now formally allow saving org data there via Intune policy.
Correct. More flexibility to align Intune rules with your existing data governance and storage choices.
And a small one for macOS.
A tiny one, but potentially useful for some. The macOS settings catalog now includes a setting for Show Input Menu on the login screen. Just another bit of customization control for the Mac experience.
Okay, so looking at all these updates together, a big theme seems to be boosting operational efficiency, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The automated Android naming and grouping, the relationship viewer for apps, the unified UI, they all point towards making the admin's job easier, faster, less prone to manual error.
Streamlining things. Okay, before we wrap up, we definitely need to flag a couple of important changes in, well, action items.
Yes, crucial points. First one, custom profiles on BYOD Android work profile devices.
What about them?
Support for creating new custom profiles on those personally owned work profile devices is ending, discontinued.
Right. Existing ones still work.
Existing ones will keep working. For now.
Yeah.
But the writing's on the wall. You really need to plan migrating away from those custom profiles towards the standard supported policy types.
Okay, that's a big heads up for anyone relying on those.
Yeah.
What else?
Just to reiterate the Windows security baseline point, remember you must edit and save your existing baselines or create new ones to actually get those new 24H2 settings applied.
Got it. Manual action required. And the usual reminder.
The usual, but always important. Keep up with these service updates. Intune relies on being current. Falling behind can cause unexpected issues or leave security gaps. Oh, and they mentioned some tweaks to the Admin Center homepage too, like better links to resources. Minor, but helpful.
Good points all around. So that really covers the main highlights from Intune Service Release 2504, week of April 21st, 2025. A lot in there.
Definitely a significant update. As always, we really recommend you read the detailed What's New documentation from Microsoft for each feature that impacts you. And test. Test in a pilot group before rolling anything out widely.
Sound advice. All right, that's our deep dive for this week. Thanks for tuning in.